So today first we'll be covering about environment active gate, and then we'll be covering about synthetic for public location, public, and there is a private. Okay. So tell me, what is the use of environment active gate and what is environment active gate? Anyone?
But the
Is it
name suggests
to
like
yeah, go ahead.
no, please continue.
What is environment active gate?
It would be installed in our environment to access private application to check synthetic execution.
Okay, so environment active gate, you understand that, right? It has a multiple approach. First thing is it will consolidate the traffic from different source and compress it and send it to Dynatrace cluster, right? Dynatrace cluster. So what it will do is it will consolidate the traffic from different app servers, compress it, and then send it to Dynatrace cluster. Okay, first thing. Second thing, whenever you do the cloud integration, AWS integration, Azure integration, Kubernetes integrations, okay? Kubernetes doesn't require, but even you can go with that. So whenever you do the Pivotal Cloud Foundry, VMware integration, right? You require environment active gate, AWS, any cloud, okay? Third one, database integration also required. Fourth one, for mainframe application, mainframe, right? You know that, right? Jet by OS. Those applications also required environment. Without environment activate, you can't do the setup. Okay. In AWS integration, you can do that, but only default KPI you can see. You cannot add the external service. Okay. Mainframe also required. Then private synthetic monitoring also required. Synthetic monitoring also required. You understand the memory dump? For memory dump also required environment activate. So you see, for environment activate, how many things are required? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minimum. Okay. So if you see this, if you go to your apps, sorry, let me share my extended screen. So if you see this, okay, if I'll go to my, you can see my Dynatrace portal, right? Deploy active gate. Okay, Linux, and you see here, if I'll go to my active gate, oh, I want to show you the module. So we have 3 modules. Okay. So in that module, what are the first module, what are things will get covered? Second module, what are things will get covered? Third module, what are the things will covered? Okay, because we have multiple things, right? For environment activate, so we have a module. So for one first module will cover something, support few integration. If you go with the second module, it support one integration. If you go with the third module, it will support few integration. Okay, so Why is it happening? Loading like why yeah? This is slow like anything. You see how it is loading. Sometimes trial also behave different way. So you see, right? So we have Windows. You can install environment ActiveGate on different. Either you can install on Windows Server, Linux Server, Kubernetes, OpenShift. If you select Linux, you see there is a module. What is the purpose of ActiveGate? First module, it support only routing of one agent, traffic to Dynatrace, monitor cloud environment, monitor remote technology, and extension. Okay. So extension means if you talk about database, so what is required? Extension is needed, correct? For database, we have an extension. So extension is needed. For this memory dump, this is sufficient. If you talk about cloud integration, this is sufficient. And only for synthetic monitoring, we have module. And for mainframe, we have a module. Okay. Apart from that, whatever the things we have, that one agent will get this first module will get supported. Now, tell me, can we install all the modules in one server? Vashu?
Frankly to say, I've not tried that option till now.
No, you cannot install. You should have a three dedicated server to install all the three modules. You cannot combine all the three modules in one server. Okay.
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 First, second one and first one I tried it all separately. Third one
Huh.
I haven't tried till
Because
now.
that is for mainframe, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
first one should run on one server, second one run for
For RDS database extensions, we used that one.
first one,
Yeah.
and
And the
for
private network, we use it for synthetic. We use
uh,
that one.
second one. Okay. So today we'll be using second one because we are covering private synthetic location. Okay. So we'll be using second module when we'll doing that cloud integration database. We'll be using routing one agent. That time I also do that everything. So I am using today run synthetic monitoring from private locations. I will create a token. The token you can create from here also. You can go to the access token page and then you create a pass token. Don't create a API token. Okay. So I'll create a token. Okay. Now, apart from that, nothing is needed. Okay. So what I will do, go here. I'll create one VM. So launch instance. So just I'm giving location UK hyphen. Okay. IN hyphen BLR. Okay, this is my location name. Okay, this is my location name. It required minimum 2 virtual CPU and 4 GB of RAM minimum. But however, okay, but based on that, how much synthetic you are going to monitor from the private location, based on that, you have to design your how much OS you need, right? Suppose you want to request 500 internal URLs. You understand the internal URLs? Okay, we'll talk about that little later in synthetic monitoring. So first, so depend on that, you need to do the sizing. Okay, now so I need 2 virtual CPU, 4 GB of RAM, which is minimum, bare minimum. I can go with this. Key pair, I can go with my DT training. Security group, default, and I'm putting 50 GB of space. Okay, launch. I'll go here. So there is a two-way. Okay, one way you can connect your VM directly in the browser. Second way, if there is a tool is called MOVA Extreme. Everyone heard about this tool? Why taking too much time? 1 second.
What
Okay.
tool did you mention, Ravi?
There is a tool is called MOBA Extreme.
MOBA Extreme. It's for like putty, right? You're talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
like putty and all
It
that. Yeah.
it like it look like it's a pot
In the
putty.
past.
What is
Yeah.
happening here? Okay. So this is your tools. Okay. We can connect with this also. Sometimes some of them people are not aware. So you can go here, select SSH. You can give your IP. So this is my IP, public IP. And I will go to my this. I will put my remote host URL, specify user. So username is ec2-user. It it should be in a small. Advanced setting, use private key, and upload your PEM key, okay? And then upload this. So accept this. So you can able to connect. If you try with putty, so again you have to generate a keygen and then you have to generate that key, okay? And then you have to, in the authenticated, you have to add all those things. So here directly you can upload the PEM key. So here sudo space su. You can become a root user. Now yum update -y. So either you
So,
install one agent, you install environment activate, root access is needed, okay?
so in real time, right? We already have all these servers like established by system admin guys, right? They will just give us this particular application team. Okay, this is particular host for setting up the active gates. How does that work in real time?
Aha. So in the real time, right now, we'll talk about in the synthetic monitoring, but I'll tell you, now you need to understand either you are using Dynatrace SaaS or manage. Okay, first thing. So if you are using manage, definitely your complete manage infra will be different, correct? Which is a observability team, yeah, central observability team. They used to take care, correct? There is a dedicated team for that, correct? If you are using
Okay.
Dynatrace SaaS, then definitely Dynatrace cluster is running on Dynatrace cloud side. So you have bare minimum component, correct? Which is your environment active gate. Anyway, one agent is installing on all the target node. Okay. So on the observability platform, what are your infrastructure you have, which is called environment active gate? One server, two server, three server, four server, five server. Am I correct? Yes or
Yes.
no? Suppose
Yes.
I am application owner. I want to onboard my application in Dynatrace, which and I wanted to configure synthetic monitoring, but it is the internal application. So I should have my so with the help of ActiveGate only we can configure that. Yes, or no? So
Yes.
now tell me. So now I have my application should be always, if it is an internal application, so within the network, correct? Within the network
Yes.
can access, anyone can access. Am I correct?
Yes.
In the same network, if I set up my environment active gate, then we can able to connect. Now, because environment active gate running on which side? Your application side, your network, correct? So that you can able to access the application. So now, whenever the application team wanted to onboard synthetic monitoring in your Dynatrace and which has a internal application you cannot access from the public location, then you can tell boss for this we required environment active gate should be installed running on your network. Okay, suppose now you have your observability platform where you have all those things, then you can set up your VM in your resource group, bnet, subnet, all those things, and you can tell them then about this is my VM running under this vnet, under this subnet. Now you allow, so you give me your IP. Okay, so you go your network rule and ensure that my server should be able to access your application. Are you getting my point? So that if you do from the server curl-iv application URL, yeah, curl-i, yeah, w, whatever thing, you do the ping, you can able to reach to that application because in that because your VNet is different, their VNet is different, we cannot access. So we used to tell that we just to allow my server in your network so that my server can able to access your application URL. Understood?
Okay.
Now, any questions?
So what is that file which is like updated for some of the Linux hosts? I think we have to do apart from one agent installation. I forgot that rules file, right? Something related to some rules.
Firewall rules, okay?
Firewall
Suppose,
rules. Huh?
suppose this is my this, right? And now, if I wanted to access anything, so there is a concept of in Windows we have a security group, okay? And under the security group, we have your rules, inbound rules and outbound rules. You understand that, right? Incoming rules, outgoing rules, and what other rules are coming. So now see all the port I have open, so that my application can able to access. Suppose if I'll not allow this port, suppose 4318, I cannot send data to any to their cloud. Why? Because my VM cannot send data over the port 4318, because if I'm sending the data, so it is not sending a data. So I will telling that, boss, my applications, your server running on this port 443, and your should 9999 environment activate running on 9999, and you give your server, and they will add in their firewall inbound rule they can add. Okay, so this from this IP you can add. So if you go edit, so there will be IP also, you can do that. Add, you see what port, and then suppose I want to add 9999. Okay, now I can give this custom my IP. So this IP I will give your system IP. You understand that?
Got
Your
it.
this is suppose this is my application firewall. Okay, I'll give the environment activate IP. You understand that? So that
Yes.
my this server able to communicate to my application server. Okay, and then I can do that. So that's how it works. Okay, everything is depend on this port only.
9999. Huh?
Hmm. I
Okay.
don't have. Okay. So now what I can do is, so now if I'll go to my, okay, so it got downloaded. So if you do ls, this is my environment active get script got downloaded. Now what I have to do is I have to verify this, okay, whether everything is correct or not. Third one, you see, it support some OS. Now you have a SUSE Linux. It will support, no, Red Hat 7, it does not support. So like this, it does not support. So ensure that you check this. CentOS does not support. Okay, so only this many Linux distributions support. So ensure that you see. So I have Amazon Linux, so I can
Yeah,
run this.
Amazon Linux, it will support only 20.
2023 only.
I tried different one earlier, it's failed. Then I came to know that one.
When it got added recently, Amazon Linux also.
Yeah.
This year, maybe, yeah, 6 months, yeah, 8 months ago. Okay, earlier it was not there. Earlier we used to do on the Red Hat. Okay, so now if I'll run this, it will throw some error first. You have to install some module. Yeah.
Ravi, do you have any sizing document? I'm planning to set up a new environment. For that, how many activities is required? So to do such kind of planning, so is it any document like template is there for that?
Template is not there. Now you need to think. You need to decide how many. Suppose you selected for a 2 virtual CPU, 8 GB of RAM. Okay. Now, in that server, how many URLs you are going to request? Okay, means you are doing the curl -i, curl -v, whatever things. Okay, first thing through Dynatrace. First thing. Second, what is their frequency? Polling interval every 1 minute, every 5 minutes. Okay, so you need to think, and then once you do that, you see their CPU consumption. Okay, you see that how much CPU is getting consumed. If it is consuming more than 80, yeah, something. Okay, bare minimum in the organization every time go minimum 4 virtual CPUs, 8 GB of RAM, yeah, 4 virtual CPUs, 16 GB of RAM. You will not find any kind of issue. Okay, if the request is more than 500 synthetic something, you never find out in any organization. Even the bigger 100, 200 synthetic is sufficient for that. Okay, so 4 virtual, yeah, 2 virtual CPU, 8 GB of RAM, minimum you go. And then after that, if you see that, okay, that server, in that server, you can install one agent also. Okay. And even you can see that CPU consumption for that server. And then you check if CPU is going high, then you can recommend to upgrade that. Okay. So my installation is successful. Now, what is the command to check the status? Systemctl, status Dynatrace gateway.service. Dynatrace gateway.service. Okay. Okay. What is that? System
Spelling
CTL.
mistake is there.
Where?
Dynatrace spelling. Dynatrace spelling.
Yeah. Yeah. Because Dyna. Correct. So now see my active gate is running. Now, so if you see that configuration cd slash opt slash Dynatrace slash active ls cd gateway lsc synthetic module, right? So now, so this is your uninstallation script. Okay, if you go cd, okay, ls cd, so we have only synthetic modules. We have installed only synthetic module, right? You see browser, Chrome, GRE, all those things we have. Now, if you come to your Dynatrace portal and see the deployment status, ActiveGate, you can see in the deployment status only. There is no ActiveGate page, dedicated page for that. And if you see this, what module we have? Only which is called synthetic module. Only synthetic module. If you go with the first step, right? First one we'll be doing when we'll doing database AWS integration. That time you will see more than 6-7 modules. But here we have only synthetic module because we went with which module? Synthetic module, right? Where it went? We went synthetic module. Okay, so we can do that. Okay, so now my ActiveGate is running. So first thing, what I have to configure to set up. So now suppose this application, this is my public network, but suppose this application running on your private network. Private network means within the VNet you can access. Within the network you can access. I can create a boundary. Okay, suppose example. Suppose example, them load. Okay, suppose example, you have boundary. You understand the boundary? Means your application URL you can access in this boundary. We are outside the boundary. This is your public boundary. This is your where anyone can access, right? But here, if you are in this network, you know those kind of application in your organization. When you go to that Wipro network, then only you can able to connect. When you go to that SCL network, then only you can go to that. If you go to any bank network, then only you can able to connect the URL, any URLs. Am I correct? I think in the bank you have multiple internal application. Am I correct? So now I think Ganesh should be knowing that, right? So when you have URL within your network, then what you have to set up is you require private synthetic locations. So assume this application running on private network. Okay. Then if it is required on private network, I cannot connect from outside from my browser. It should only connect when I'll connect to my network. Then I can able to connect. Okay, means outside of the people market nobody can access. Okay, so if you have those kind of application, every organization they do have, like suppose you think about their payroll portal where you can go and check the pay slip, all those things, right? They have an internal portal you cannot access. Some of them have external also, but some of them have an internal portal. You cannot go and outside of the network you can access that. Okay, so those kind of application you wanted to monitor, yeah, internal application you want to monitor URLs, you have to configure a private synthetic location. Okay, so I have configured that ActiveGate, but I have not configured the private synthetic location. I have just configured the ActiveGate. Now, how you can configure the private synthetic location? Now you have to go to your setting tab. Okay, either you go with normal setting or classic setting, it will redirect to the classic setting itself. Okay, web and mobile monitoring, and you see private synthetic location here. Add private synthetic location, and synthetic location name I am giving IN-BLR, India BLR location. Okay, city I can give Bangalore, coming right.
I think spelling by typo हुआ है.
नहीं
BANI. No, BAN. Oh, sorry. My bad.
BANG. Okay, add ActiveGate. So you see here I'm adding the ActiveGate. Add ActiveGate. Now here we have which is called your Chromium update. You can disable that. I don't want auto update anything, because whenever you do auto update, sometimes restart is needed. Now suppose your Chromium update is happening, that time what will happen? Your browser will get stuck. That time you will not execute that browser, and that time you're suppose API goes down and you are executing from every 1 hour. That time you will not get any alert, right? It will create a problem. So better you don't update anything. Now, what is auto handling? Means suppose you have, so generate a problem if entire private location is unable from all active gates, means all active gates are offline. If locations lack necessary required, okay, so generate a problem if entire private location is unavailable. Means I have only one. Suppose you have 4, then all the 4 location is unavailable, then I need alert. Generate a problem if single active gate is offline. Suppose you have a 3 out of 3, 1 went offline, I need alert. And generate a notification if any active gate. If out of 4, any 1, 2, 3, anyone goes down, I need it. So I'm putting all the 3. Okay. I don't want to leave any scenario. Okay, first thing. So I have configured the active gate. Now let's understand what is synthetic monitoring, and then we'll configure that synthetic. Okay. So tell me what is synthetic monitoring? Tell me, what is synthetic monitoring?
There are two of them. One is HTTP, another one is browser. Synthetic, we use it for up and down of the web, like any of the web browsers of the application team. And
Correct.
the browser one is for like how you said about real user monitoring the session replay. We have browser click path from user interaction from the beginning of the login page till the payment page, entire from starting till the end of wherever we want to. So like that.
Okay. What are the types of synthetic monitoring you said?
Two types, HTTP and browser.
Three types.
Uh,
Three
Three
types.
types. Oh, okay.
Network also now new version is released.
Oh, new is network too. Yeah, got it.
So synthetic monitoring, right, which is called proactive monitoring. Okay, proactive monitoring means before something happened, right? Which is called, you will come to know that, hey, this application went down, yeah, something like that. Okay, so which is called proactive monitoring technique, where you can simulate the user interaction, right? So what is happening is, so in Dynatrace, you can say it's kind of technique. Yeah, it's kind of proactive monitoring technique, which where you can simulate the user transaction. Okay, so there are two types of synthetic. One is HTTP, three types. One is HTTP, second one is browser base, third one is network availability. Network. Now in HTTP, what we are doing is single URL. Single URL, you understand? Any URLs, you want to check their HTTP status. Suppose I will tell you, hey, this is my EasyTrade application. Now, from your system, every 5 minutes you hit and check, I'm getting HTTP your status. Status means if it is able to open, then you can say HTTP status 200. Okay, you can see here, right? The network tab, if you reload this, you are going, na, HTTP status. The status code I am getting 3 not found, 300. So means my HTTP status 200, okay, means 300 for not modified, but 200 you are getting the status, right? Request URL. So now you are getting the response. Means when you hit this URL, you are getting the response, right? So means your application is up. So every 5 minutes I'll tell you, you hit that. It is possible for you? No. So what we are doing is every 5 minutes, if URL is too important, like which has a payment gateway for this application, all those things, then we need to monitor this single URL. Okay, single URL means any single URLs, you can do that. Okay, first thing. So any single URL, you can do that. And either you have a get call, get API, post API, put API, and delete API. You understand all those things? Means get means fetching the data. Post means inserting the data. Put means partially you are modifying, right? Now you have added Ravi and you gave the wrong name. Yeah, you gave some case sensitive issue, whatever things, right? You want to modify, you can use the put call. Even you can complete JSON, you can modify, you can do the post call. And you want to delete some configuration, you have a delete API, right? So all the APIs, all the authentication type which has a get, post, put, delete, that you can do that. Now, when you have a browser base, so in the browser base, you have two types. One is single URL also and multi URL. Now you will have a multi URL. Now you will have a confusion. Single URL we are configuring HTTP also, and you are saying in the browser base also you can configure single URL. Why? Any difference?
Can you repeat that again? Like
Single
question?
URL in the HTTP, we configure single URL in HTTP. Okay. In browser base also we can configure single URL. So what is the difference we are getting when you are configuring single URL in HTTP and same URL I'm configuring in browser? What is the difference we are getting?
The difference, like as I was like telling, like we can use that, like how you did the session replay, you can do the browser based, like you can even check when a user logs in, all that activity behind the scenes, you can record that in the
No.
browser base.
browser based, that is called browser click path. We have not discussed about that. Okay. See,
Okay.
single URL you can configure even in, suppose this is my application, right? This application single URL we can configure in HTTP also, and same URL I can configure in browser also. Difference is when you configure with HTTP, it will give you the data in the JSON format. Okay, and you have, if there is any issue, you have to analyze the JSON. Suppose anything went down, right? Now you want to understand what is the issue. So what is required? JSON they will give you. You need to understand the JSON. Okay. When you configure same URL with the browser-based monitoring, it will capture the screenshot of the page so that you can understand, right, where is the problem. You understand? Suppose I'm going to setting tab where it is not loading. It is popping some errors. It will capture here itself. It will capture like a screenshot of this page and it will give you the data. So it will be easier for you to understand. Suppose I'll give you them one content text file in 100 lines and I will tell you, hey, can you find the issue? And I'll give you the screenshot of that page and where the root cause that it is showing as an error. Which one will be easier for you? A screenshot, right? Yes, right? Sometimes you are having an issue or you wanted to discuss with someone. If you give the data, they might cannot understand. Some of them can understand, they might cannot. There is chance. Yeah, it will take time to understand. Example, but if you give the complete a screenshot of that page, right? What will happen? Within a fraction of minute, they can analyze that. What is the root cause? Are you getting my point? So that also you can configure in this with the help of browser-based monitoring. Now, even you can configure multi-URL. Suppose you have two portal. Example, one is easytrade.com and second one is easytradeportal.com. Both are redirecting to main URL, easytrade.com. Easytrade portal also redirecting to easytrade.com. Example. Then both URL you can configure, which is called multi-URL. Now there is another thing in the browser base itself, which is called browser click path. Browser click path means what is happening. Browser click path. Suppose I have my application, okay, and I wanted to do end-to-end transaction. Suppose in the browser click path, I log in as any user, robot. Okay, log in as a robot. Then I go to the deposit page. Okay, send some amount, $100. Cardholder name I can take autofill. So I'm sending my sending amount. Okay, $100, which is to from this, and I'm depositing it. Okay, so I deposit this. So this kind of user interaction, you understand the user interaction. So not a real user. Not because browser base, why it is required, browser click path, why is it needed? Because suppose you are doing a sale. Suppose now tonight a flight ticket from Bangalore to Hyderabad, there is a cost only for 1,000. Just to think how many ticket will get booked. Now, tonight they have a sale. Next 3 months you can book for any date, which is cost you 1,000 rupees. Just to think how much sale will happen. It is, we cannot assume. Am I correct? Either it could be 5,000, it could be 10,000, it could be 20,000. We don't know, right? Same way, sometimes whenever you have some kind of sales, example, then you don't know that how much sale is. And suppose you have a sale start at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock will get closed. Now, exact 12:10, your payment gateway API, which people used to do the payment through credit card, yeah, debit card, yeah, online account transfer, whatever things, right? Internet banking. That time, most of the people are doing the payment through the credit card. And credit card API integration they have done with the application, it is not working. Now you will have a huge loss. Am I correct? Because to running a sale, you have 1 month people sitting behind of that. They are doing a lot of changes in the application. Then it is running a sale. Not like, okay, let's run the sale. No, they are running a business, right? So definitely they are working in the background. Same way goes to Amazon. Every day you see that, right? Pricing difference we have in the Amazon. They used to compare with other trips, other website, and then they used to put the changes every time, right? So what is happening? So they are doing a lot of changes. Now you have a cell and your payment gateway API is not working. Yeah, people are not able to log in. Yeah, they are not able to add item into that cart. What happened? Your sale will fall down. That is the reason whichever that premium transaction you have, people used to do end to end, which is called browser click path. Means end to end I want to do. So I will create a service account. I will not go with so every application for end to end testing, they have one service account. Anyone using a service account to test end to end application manually also?
Yeah, we did that in the past. Yes.
Because we used to have a service account. With the help of service account, we used to log into the application, doing some transaction. And for transaction also, right, they will give you some hard-coded value. If you put that value, it will accept that. It will go complete end so that you can understand my application end-to-end flow is working. Right? Because whoever from the SRE team, yeah, application support team, they used to do end-to-end testing. Why? Because once you're something you come up, right, you have to provide a justification. Everything is working now. Applications deployed successfully, onboarded successfully, and is working end-to-end as expected. So what people used to do in the RCA, they used to take that. Hit the URL, then used to log in with the service account, then they used to do the transaction, and then they used to, whatever things are required, they do that, and then they used to capture all the screenshot and submit it, right? Same way, browser, when you configure as a browser click path, which is required end-to-end monitoring, which is called user journey, we require a service account, and if required any value, that value should be hard coded in your application. That will be given by application team. So whenever you configure a browser click path, you have to discuss with application team now in the amount. Suppose in the amount what I should fill. If you fill 100, it will not because the real transaction then. So only that value, that is the reason it has a autofill. Means autofill means if you log in with this credit card, this address, this email, this card number, this PIN, this CVV, it will go and it will accept that transaction. Okay, mean that in the code itself they have hard coded. So that they will give you those details and then you configure a end-to-end journey. Okay, to end-to-end configure that journey, you required what is browser extension. Okay, so you have to install synthetic recorder. Okay, so in the organization, because you cannot do everything, so they used to have a jump server and they used to do that everything, and everyone has to be record the transaction from the jump server itself. Yeah, jump server itself, because it required JavaScript, and if you configure 15 events, 20 events for JavaScript, right, it will require 500 lines of JS code. It will require too much time. That is the reason Dynatrace has given a synthetic recorder. Okay, so now, and third one, which is called network availability. So network availability, we required to check your DNS server. Yeah, from any server you want to check the ping of the IP, whether your server is able to ping or not. That kind of things you can do with the help of network availability. Okay. So now let's see how you can configure that. Okay. So if I'll go to my Dynatrace and type synthetic. So if you go here, this is your new UI and we have a old UI. In new, if you go to browser-based monitoring, it will redirect to that classic. If HTTP and network, it will be in here itself. It is taking too much time to load. Let me switch my internet. 1 second. It's taking too much time. Can you try from your end? Dynatrace portal is taking same time. 1 second. Let me see. No, yeah, still it is same time. Now can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here you can configure that. So I'm configuring HTTP. Somebody has configured, you see this? So HTTP monitor. Example, this is my EasyTrade. EasyTrade. Next, if it is a front end means your web application configured for that, then you can directly select that, assign the front end. If not, then you give the, and this is your key, environment, dev, application, app, EasyTrade. These are the tags you have. So you have to always use this. Okay, now continue. Basic config. So now what is the name? EasyTrade homepage. Yeah, you can take landing page. Okay. URL, I can give this URL. Okay, so this is my URL. Okay. Now you want to monitor their client certificate, means SSL certificate. Then you can, that also you can do that. You see, add required SSL certificate, which is called where? Accept SSL certificate, and you can enable this. So if SSL certificate got expired in 30 days, it will send you the alert. Okay. If you want to have 15 days, you can send the SSL certificate. We used to keep 30 days minimum. Okay. So that also you can enable. And this is your authorization. So remember, Dynatrace does not support SSO. Most of the times in the interview, they used to ask. Now 90% of application has SSO, single sign-on. Am I correct? 90 or 95, you can say. Okay. So now Dynatrace does not support SSO. Now tell me, for if my application EasyTrade has a SSO based application, how you can configure synthetic if required a credential? Tell me.
I think you mentioned about the service account, right?
So whichever the service account, they will configure, right? They need to bypass the MFA, which is called multi-factor authentication. They need to bypass. It should be service account, never expiry password. Yeah, password if you get expired, definitely you should remember that. So you should interact with the team, and then you need to reset the passwords. Okay, so those kind of things you have to take care of that. So while doing that, so remember, in Dynatrace support only basic NTLM and corporate authentication. Okay, if required authentication. Now, if you wanted to have SSL, I can put that. So response status code fail if greater than means 200 okay, right? After that greater than equal to 400, okay? And generate a problem if in how many second? Violation is 10 second. Now I need a frequency. I want to run. You can run every 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You cannot run every 7 minutes. Nothing like that. So whatever the frequency you have given, you can do that. And on top of that, on demand. Suppose I have configured for every 30 minutes. Now I have done some changes. I need to wait for 30 minutes, right, to execute that URL. So what I can do is, meanwhile, I can go with the on-demand execution. I will test it for that purpose. Okay. Yeah, some kind of automations when you do that, right? So it will go with the on-demand executions. Okay. So I will go with every 1 minute right now, so you can get the data. Now we have a two types of location. These are the location that it was given. It is called public location. These are the location was given, right, across the globe, which is called public location. So now if you are up, yeah, go ahead.
Ravi, when you're talking about this public location, when we are, so you define the private location. We don't have to do any defining of public location. It's given by default, right? For
Yeah,
us,
given by
we are
Dynatrace.
setting
Given by Dynatrace, either you are using SaaS manage, a public location will be given by Dynatrace. Private, if now suppose just you think this is my internal application, then I have to go with my private location. So if you search here and type here, which is called private, you see, just you type private. Okay, you see here, I am getting this. So anyway, this private also it will be accessible because my application is completely open to all. So it will accessible. So I can select this. Even you can select, and that public location if your application is completely accessible from anywhere. Okay, so then you can run from any location. If this application resides in US, then I have to run from the US. So I will search here and I will type USA. Okay. United States. Okay, so now I'm getting Chicago, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, California, Virginia. So I can run this. So I can run this. In trial, you cannot run more than something. Okay, so if I'll run this and I'm running this. Okay, now we have something called alerting now, outage handling. Because now you configured synthetic, right? Something went down. You need an alert, right? So you no need to configure a synthetic alert. Okay. When you configure the synthetic, that time itself you will ask you the what kind of outage you are looking for. So they are saying generate a problem, send an alert when monitor is unavailable, all configured locations, which is called global outage. Suppose I have configured from 5 locations, then all the 5 locations that application went down, which is called global outage. You understand that? I need alert. So global outage I need in the first time itself. Generate a problem, send an alert, monitor is unavailable from 1 or more consecutive run at any location, which is called local outage. Suppose I am running from 5 locations. So 1 out of 5, 2 out of 5, you can select that and you run at least for not first occurrence, you give the second time. Depend on that, what is your a polling interval you have. If you have every 5 minutes, then you can go with every second time itself. If it is every 1 minute, then at least you can go with the third time 4 times. If it is every 30 minutes, then I need a first time itself. And sometimes I need a threshold violation. You might have seen that, right? Dynatrace page was loading like anything, too much time. Okay, I can configure if this kind of issues happening, if slowness, you can go if taking more than 10 seconds, I need alert. Okay, so this is your outage handling for alerting. For alerting, you should not gonna go and configure again for this custom alert or some kind of alert. This synthetic, when you configure right, that time itself you have to configure the outage handling, which is your alerting concept. And which alert profile will get covered? Availability alert. Remember, Vashu? We talk about right availability. Most of the alert comes from availability severity. Will have a alert profile. It come from the synthetic only, which is a local outage, global outage, all those things. Okay. Continue and run this. So I'm running from 5 location. That is the reason 1 out of 5, 1 by 5, 2 by 5, 3 by 5, something. So 1 went down out of 5, 2 went down out of 5, 3 went down. Then you need this that will have. Okay. So now you see, adding a monitor failed is because cannot assign more than 3 location in the trial, because we are using trial environment, right? So trial does not allow you more than 3 location. So what I can do is I can reduce that, because sometimes in the interview, that is the reason it was asking. So in the trial you cannot configure more than 3. So I can remove the 1 and 2. Okay, so I'm running from 3 location. Now it will be 3. You see that, right? 2 out of 3 now. See, 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3, 3 out of 3 global. Are getting my point? That is the reason you don't have 3 out of this. Okay. So when you go with the 5, 1 out of 5, 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5. 5 out of 5 means global. That is the reason we don't have that. Okay. So 1 by 3 or 2 by 3. So 2 by 3 I'm giving, and then go next. Save. So now when you save that, it will every 1 minute from 3 location, it will go and check the URL and give the HTTP status, which is called 200. URL is working means HTTP 200. Okay. Am I correct? So now here we have filter by location. So it will wait for few minutes to get the data. Same URL I can configure for browser also. So I will show you that, then we'll see the difference. Till that time data also will come. I will go with synthetic again here. And same URL, I can configure the browser base. So let's see this. So I'm going with browser. See, it is redirecting now Dynatrace classic setting.
Ravi, what's the major difference between the public and the private networks in this synthetic monitoring? Because it's been asked in the interview.
Public location means Dynatrace provide a public location, so which your private application cannot access, cannot be accessible from that server, right? Suppose you might have seen, right? Location has a multiple IP. You might have seen that. Remember? You see.
Yes.
So that IP, right? IP is nothing but server. Okay. So IP is nothing but server. From that server, you cannot hit my application. So what I have to do now? I have to set up a private synthetic location. Private location, which is my network, your client network, so that you can able to access the URL and you can get the response. Got it? Any questions?
Okay.
See, suppose this is my application, Easy Trade example. Easy Trade. Okay, it is my private application. Now tell me, I'm working in one company and this application, it is completely in the private network. From your laptop, you can able to access? Yes or no? Because the private network, you cannot access, right? Because when I'll connect a VPN or whatever network, then I can access. You can access from your laptop, your browser? Yes or no?
If it is an internal one, it is a private, right? But if it is like an outside external one, it is public.
So internal one, you cannot access, right? Internal one, you cannot access? You cannot access? Same way.
I can access to private, right? Private network.
See, now you are sitting in here. Okay. I am the organization guy. So when I will go to this network, then I can access this application. If I am closing the network, I'm outside of network, when I cannot access this application. So to get the response for this URL, I need a server here itself, right? Then I can hit the URL, curl-i-v, and then URL, application URL. then I can access. Now, when we go to the network, outside of network, nobody can access. So outside of network, which is called global network. So global network, which is Dynatrace provide, public network. Public network, from this server, I cannot access this application. So I have to set up this say that same location, same kind of location. I have set up this under this network. That is the reason we used to call private synthetic, private network, private location. You understand that? Now it is clear for everyone?
Can you repeat that again? I'm sorry.
See, if my application is private, okay, now can you access? No, you cannot access. I can access when I'll go to that network, right? You understand that, right? VPN, Cisco Connect, all those things. Everyone is using the organization, right? When you connect that, some of the application you can load. You cannot load all the application, right? Because if you are in their network, then only you can connect to that application, because which is your client network. Okay. Now Dynatrace is running on outside of the network, because your Dynatrace public location, we have outside of the network, so that your application cannot access your Dynatrace URL. Your Dynatrace location, public location, cannot access your application URL. In that case, what I have to do to monitor that application URL? I have to set up a VM within the network, install environment ActiveGate, and then configure a location. Then from that network, I can access this application. Suppose, example, this is my network. One server I have here. Okay, and this is my URL, example, because this is my network. This guy cannot access my URL? No, right? So what I will do, to access this URL, I'll set up one VM here. Now this guy can access URL easily. Right, same network I can access the URL. So now in this, this guy, I'll install environment ActiveGate and I'll configure private location. Make sense for everyone?
Okay, got it.
You got it, right? So that is the reason we used to configure that. Okay. So now let's see how you can same URL we can configure browser based also. So let's see that. Okay, so URL, this is my application URL. Okay, I will go here. Okay, EasyTrade. EasyTrade home page. Okay, just I'm giving the difference. Okay, now just I have configured this. I'm not adding any authentication, nothing. Okay, I'm not using synthetic. I'm not adding another events, nothing. Single URL. I'm running from every minimum is 5 minutes per browser. So I'm running from 5 minutes. I'm running from multiple location. Okay, so I can take which is called type private also I can run, because even I can run from private, I can run from public, because it's accessible from everywhere. Just as so I understanding for private location, I have configured that how you can configure it. I'm running from Tokyo and I'm running from Kuala Lumpur. Okay. Next, so this is the IP, right? This is nothing but a server. So now next, okay, so still 3. Okay, create. So now I have configured same URL, browser also, same URL, HTTP also. So now you see the difference. Okay. So meanwhile, we'll see the HTTP. Okay, so data came. So we have EasyTrade homepage, which is called EasyTrade. HTTP. Now you see this. So now you see this, we are running this from 3 locations. So Cloud they have for this Azure, then we have a private. Availability 100%. Response time, how much time is taking? So we have kept the threshold 10 seconds, but it's taking 13 millisecond to 5 millisecond, 98 millisecond, something like that. Okay. Response by location, you see each location how much time is taking. Response by request. So threshold we have, so it will be the red color, and then you can see that. Okay, how much time is taking. So this is a response. SSL we have added, so we are getting the SSL certification expiration. Okay, and now you are getting this 80 and you are getting the response status. Now you see for now what difference you are getting. Okay, so if you want to analyze execution, you want to suppose you have any failed request or something, analyze request, you are getting what you are getting. JSON you are getting, right? This is your JSON. Same way we have last fail. Whenever this URL will go fail, then you'll have a last fail execution, and then you can see that. Same thing in browser-based monitoring, it will capture the screenshot of the page. Are you getting my point? What I'm trying to say? So it will capture the screenshot of the page. So here you are getting the analyze execution. You are getting in the JSON, and in the when you go with the browser based for single URL, it will capture the screenshot of the page. I'll show you that. And what is the on-demand execution? Means on demand. Now it will be running for another 5 minutes. I cannot wait. I can go on demand and run that and can test that. Even not for this only, even for when you do that, some kind of automation or something to test that, all those things, you cannot hit that right from one location every month. People used to go with the on-demand execution. So I can run this, I can test this. Trigger now and check this, and I'll get the response, whatever things. Based on that, I can give you the okay URL is working or not, something like that. When you do that, some kind of automation, right? These kind of things will help you. That is the reason we have on demand, not like only for this purpose to wait and we can test it. Also, when you do some kind of automation, on demand only will help you that. So now you are getting the failure. Why? Because you have added SSL issue handling also. That is the reason it is getting failed, because the SSL certificate not found. We don't have SSL certificate in the application. Now, when you go with browser base for same URL, it will capture your screenshot of the page, not a JSON. And always they'll look for, this is your expected. So when you capture the first time screenshot, always look for same data. Also, when you configure HTTP, you can add some validation also. After getting the response, ensure that everything is loaded or not. Those kind of things. You can add some content validation. I'll show you that. So now we have this. So Easy Travel Home. This is for browser base. Now you see this. It will capture your screenshot of the page. Still is setting up monitors. It will take time. So here you see that, right? Event, it will capture your screenshot of that. So I'll show you in the playground environment where you have multiple data, right? Today is too much slow.
It seems like many people are accessing that.
Not for UI. This UI only. Maybe from their side itself, there is too much load on their cluster, all those things. Now you are taking a SaaS style. They will not give you a bigger environment, right? Which has a 16 virtual CPU and 64 GB of RAM. They have bare minimum. So now you see, right? Okay, which it has. So now you see, right? Browser event. So if you see this, it will capture the screenshot of the page. You see the screenshot? It still is not loaded. You see this? Single URL? You see? So this is your application. So it will capture the screenshot. Suppose your email page is not loaded. Yeah. This is not coming. Yeah. Something wherever you have a problem, right? It will capture the screenshot. So it will help you to instead of going with JSON, understanding the JSON and checking that where the root cause, this screenshot will help you out too much, right? So that is the reason always when you analyze execution, right, it will always look from this is your expected value and this is your current value. That is the reason I gave you the alert example. So you see this. So I am analyzing 1236. See, this is your screenshot, detailed breakdown, and you see, right? So you see the screenshot. If something issue happened and you see 3 errors you have, so what is the errors? You see 2 JavaScript errors. One image, favicon image, JavaScript error. You see this, right? So wherever you have a problem, you see this image. So what is the URL? favicon.png. So what are the screenshot? You see where is the favicon.png? It is not loaded successfully. So like this, it will give you that, right? It will be easier for you to analyze
It
and
looks like the waterfall analysis, right, Ravi?
Which one?
This multi-dimensional analysis and waterfall analysis for user sessions, you gave the in-depth view of it's similar like waterfall analysis for the user
Yeah,
sessions. You are giving
this is for a waterfall analysis and it will look for that. You see HTTP 404 favicon.png, right? It was a fail. It was not loaded. That image, some in logo, right? Something in the image there was a logo. It was not loaded. So like this, it will give you the data in the instead of JSON. It will give you the screenshot and then it will give you the errors. It will be easier for you to understand where the root cause. So same way, this is my EasyTrade application. See, it will get captured the complete home page. Now suppose this image was not loaded, anything was not loaded, it will capture the screenshot. You see, capture the screenshot, and always they look for this value. Anything got deviated from this, it will create alert. Suppose if I'll do the changes of the color, also it will do the alert. Let me see that. Maybe I may not, because that image doesn't look for any difference, right? So that way there is a difference. You will capture the screenshot of the page. First thing. Now how you can configure? So remember sometimes, so why people used to go depend on that application criticality, you have to go with suggest HTTP or browser base. You understand that? Because suppose HTTP costing $1 example, then your browser base capturing for single URL $10. Understood? 1:10 ratio, because your HTTP capture 0.1 dem unit. Okay, your browser capture 1.0 dem unit. Understood? License cost we have not discussed, but you can say 1:10 ratio. Understood? Because HTTP, because it has a JSON, it will capture it consume 0.1 dem unit. When you go with the browser, it will consume 1 dem unit, 1:10. Okay, so this difference we have. Now, how you can configure a browser base? So browser base, to configure a browser base connector, you have to go with the browser only. Instead of single URL,
Ravi, here in the browser, we have multiple URLs, right? So it will take it as a consideration licensing point of view 1, or it will take it as 10. We have 10.
now suppose what you are trying to say here.
In the browser monitoring, we have other sub URLs also, like 10 URLs in the same
Now,
application.
let me show you that. Okay. Suppose you configure 5 URLs. It will capture a 5 events. So when your license will get counted, right? 5 events. Okay. Suppose one you have configured. Suppose you configure as a either you in this URL. Same you add one more URL here itself has option, right? Add events, right? So when you add events, right, from first page to second page, third page, fourth page, fifth
Yeah.
page. Suppose I went to EGT at first page, then I went to second page, slash instrument, third page I went deposit, fourth page I withdraw, and then credit card. Okay, suppose fifth page I have 5 page I have added, okay, manually. Okay, then it will capture as a 5 events one time. It will capture the 5. Okay, so how many events we have? 5. Then from how many location? This many location. What is the polling interval? So from polling interval every 1 minute. So now it will get calculated in that way. It will consume for 5 URLs in one shot. Okay, because how many events you have. So now you see, suppose this has a browser click path example. Okay, but this has a multiple website, right? They are monitoring Dynatrace website itself in the playground. You see, they have a multiple URLs, multiple URLs. It has to capture how many events you have. Based on that, license will get captured. You see, first, second, third, 3 events we have. Got it?
Yeah.
So license will get captured something like that. How many URL? 3 URL. Okay. Then how many location? So we have one location. Okay. Then in 1 hour, suppose every 5 minutes. So in 1 hour, 12, right? So one URL will give 12, right? Then 3 URL 36 into what is the license cost? 1.0, like this will get consumed. Understood?
Yeah.
So like that it will get calculated your license. Okay. So now coming to the browser base. So I will copy this. I'll go and I want to do. So I want to simulate the user. You understand the simulate the user means end to end user will generate the transaction. So I will go here URL and just keep it like this. And what I can do is install synthetic recorder because I have multiple page, multiple things. So I will go with synthetic recorder and you see why service account is needed. So this synthetic recorder will get added to your Chrome. So already we have unpin, add to Chrome. Okay, it got added. I'll go here. I'll pin this here. Now I will go here, reload the URL. Too slow here. Okay, so now let me give the URL. So now see, record without incognito mode. Enable this and it'll record a click path. You see this. I hit my application, log in as a Robin. I'll click here. I'll go to my instrument page. I'll go to my ePlan. Okay, then I'll go to my deposit. I'll select autofill, deposit, done. Then I'll go to my withdraw, autofill, withdraw. Then I'll go to my credit card, autofill, and I'll order my credit card. So now when you close this order created, right? So now when I close this, entire transaction will get recorded. You see this? How much time it took? You see this? Now now you want to validate some content, you can add the content rule, whatever things you want to validate in that while when you do the instrument, right? When you click on instrument, suppose, now you want to validate some content. Then you can give the content validation rules. If this you found, then it is pass, otherwise it is fail, something like that, okay? You can specify the text, okay? Those kind of things, it is there. Then you see all the things got added. Then I can go next. If you want to record again, you want to see that playback, you can go with the playback and you can configure this from any location. And this is your browser base. So now whatever things I did with autofill, right? You have to log in with service account. So you need to give the account name, username, whatever things, application username. Then you need to enter the password. It will capture as a this hidden mode, and then you need to go inside, do some transaction, and then it will capture the data. So now you are doing end-to-end journey. So now when this script ran, this synthetic ran successful end-to-end in every 1 hour, means what I can say, my application is working end-to-end successfully. None of the service went down, none of the gateway having any issue. Are you getting my point? So when you are doing this project, that is the reason we are saying we require a service account. You understand that? Now for entire one, it will capture the screenshot. You see that, right? Okay. You might have seen here, right? For entire one, it will capture the screenshot. And when you go analyze execution,
Ravi, the username and password automatically gets captures, or do we need to
you need to enter. See,
modify?
my application has a default username and password. That is the reason, right? This is a dummy application. I cannot have I cannot create a service account and cannot provide that, all those things. Okay. That is the reason they have given, which is called you can log in with this user, but in the real-time environment, you have to log in with your username. So application, what is your login ID? What is the password? Then you go with the login. Okay, you understand that? So I will go with the login as Terry. Then I will do the transactions. Suppose I am doing the deposit. So whatever the amount you give, right? Application team will give added in the hard coded. So when I'm doing the autofill, means these are things are hard coded. You understand that? If I'll giving something, instead of 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, my application does not accept. Now this is a dummy application. You see anything came? No. When I'm giving autofill, you see, when I'm giving autofill and deposit, what it is saying? Deposit successful. You have seen that, right? You see here in the DOM, deposit successful.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
I am giving the autofill, and now instead of CVV number, I'm changing to 345. I'm trying to deposit. What is happening? Still, it is happening because any value is accepting. That is the reason you have to. These are the details, right? When you're real time, application team will hard code in their application such a way that if you enter this value, it will accept application. Wherever you have some value to insert, it has to be hard coded by application team. You understand, right? Variables and hard code. When you give variables means var equal to $1 is $a is equal to 2 a something, and you hard coded a is equal to 2, something like that, right? So you create a variable. You understand the variable, right? Variable a is equal to cluster. So any cluster will take, right? If you give a is equal to EKS cluster, only will take EKS cluster. EKS 01, EKS 02, whatever the name you have given. So that variables, right, depend on that. You need to check with application team. They will hard code in their application because you are doing a dummy transaction. You are not doing a real-time transaction. Am I correct? Just you are testing the application, right? To test it, what you will do? You need a dummy transaction so that I can say my application is working. Okay. So this is the way you can do that. So now I have configured for every 5 minutes. You see the data is coming. It will capture for entire journey a screenshot of the page. Oh, UI itself is loading too much time. For network, meanwhile, I'll configure the network also. For network, we have to go always in the new UI, new synthetic, not old synthetic. So new UI synthetic, you have a network availability. Whatever you configure HTTP and browser, it will be available here also, there also. Okay, but network will be here only in the latest UI. You see, right? Dynatrace, you don't do classic synthetic, but here you'll see classic synthetic. You difference it. Okay, so whatever we configure HTTP and browser, it is coming both the page. But when you configure network, it will not come here. It will show only here. So even SSL certificate expiry, right? We need to get the alert, right? Whenever your certificate is getting expired, we need to have alert. So we need to configure that. Sorry. Okay. So now for network availability, you can configure here. Okay. So name of the site you can give. You are configuring, right? So just you can give easy trade example. And you can check the protocol DNS, TCP, ICMP. So you can see the example and then go next. And you can run from easy trade whether it is accessible from different server or not, something like that. Okay, so you can list of targets you can give, and you can give this, enter the IP. So I can take for any IP. Suppose I am testing from this. Okay, so I am giving this target. Okay, how many packets, timeout, you can give all those things, and you can configure this. Success rate greater than 80 and success rate greater than equal to 80. Configure this. Just for DNS check, right? Suppose your server is accessible. What you are doing? Ping, right? Checking the ping, checking that NS lookup, net stat, all those things, telnet connectivity, this port is open or not, those kind of things you can. And this always has to be set up on your private network, not public network. Means private location. Okay, so this is the way your network capability you can test it. So it will run from every 1 minute, every 5 minutes, whatever the polling interval you give, right? It will run from that interval. Understood? So let's see for synthetic. So now you see easy trade, it is coming up 17 events, right? You see this.
So here in the synthetic like network section for network monitoring, so what are we actually trying to capture here? The packets or the traffic? Like if it goes, I'm like trying to understand, or is it like a network devices here? But because this is on the synthetic side, right? On the synthetic side, these are all web browsers. So in this web browsers, are we capturing the network traffic issues
Okay.
or
On this network side, right? What we are capturing is we are checking the network, whether with your network, whether you are able to reach your application or not. Okay. So suppose if you go to your this where it went, synthetic. Let them load. So ICMP. Okay. So now what we are checking is from this server, because application has a DNS. You understand the DNS, right? From this IP, your application is DNS URL. DNS check is happening or not. Ping is happening or not. ICMP protocol, okay, is happening or not. So this kind of things you can check. This is your network availability, performance, how the network. So same way where packet send, packet drop, how many packets, 1 packet, 2 packet, 3 packet, something like that. That you can do that. Okay. Network is just like a basic. You are checking the ping status. We are checking the DNS status, whether DNS is reachable or not. In one DNS, you will
it's
have a
similar
multi.
to synthetic, right? Similar to synthetic, but network components are involved. Network.
Correct. From the network way you are checking, not a URL way. Okay. So this is the way you can do that. Okay. So hope is it clear for synthetic for everyone? Any questions? So now you might have seen that there is a multiple authentication type we have. So we have, if you go to the HTTP request, right? So there is a multiple authentication. So sometimes in the interview, they used to ask, if you're doing the post, means you need to insert the data. Okay, so now suppose when you do this, okay, and I will give my URL, suppose example. I'll show you the as example. We don't have post API. Okay, I'll give the URL. Okay, I need to insert the data. So now for post API, I need to insert the data. So whatever there is a execution script. You see, post execution. You need to give the script here. Okay, and then you need to do that JSON, and then you convert as a script. If any certificate is required to call, because whenever you do the post call, right, through postman, you remember the postman. Whenever you do those things, post API, postman, you see this. Let me show you that. Let them load. So whenever you are doing the postman, right? Now suppose I am doing the post call. So I'll give the URL, suppose example. Now I should give the JSON, binary, and none raw, select the JSON. So sometimes JavaScript also you can give. Okay. So you have to give the JavaScript here. Then you are inserting the data. Okay. So when we'll be doing the post call, right? Inserting a data to Dynatrace, same way, this is a post URL. So you can monitor that post URL also. See, any transaction in your application, you understand the application flow. Suppose I have logged into application. Okay. Suppose this is your user and this is your over the internet. They are accessing one application. Okay. So when you go and hit the request and giving when you are fetching the information, for you it is a get. From here to, if it is going to your database and something and checking this and something, you are creating an account. So what is happening? You are taking your input and adding to your database, right? Means they are doing the here to here post call. Yes. So this API, whatever the API got executed, that API also you can monitor. So that is the reason we have many APIs. Okay, if you see this, right? Support. You have seen this API. There is a many API, post API, put API, delete API, get API. So all those API also you can monitor that. Okay, not only get. 90% you will have a get only. Post, put. If it is a very internal and people used to do always postman, all those things, then they used to monitor the post call also, post API also. You'll get a requirement. Okay.
That is
Sometime
access tokens, right? The APIs, Ravi,
A,
in the access
A,
tokens, we see that get, post, put, and
So API has whenever you have a post call or something, right? You have sometimes API token. You will have not only API key, bearer token, basic authentication, hawk token, some some kind of client certificates. All those things we have a multiple way. Okay, to do that. Okay, not like only this kind, only that access token, not only with the API token. We have a multiple way, depend on that API to API, not only API token. In the organization, sometimes you have a client certificate, all those things also. To hit this, get insert the data, depend on that. You anyone heard about this HMAX authentication? HMAC authentication required a client certificate. Example, okay. Same way, there is a multiple things. We have that something. Sometimes you can monitor your response validation. Response validation means after your page was loaded, if this page that I did not see, then I can say my URL is not loaded successfully. So I am giving, if you found this, I need alert. Yeah, because sometimes I think someone is working in the HDFC. So whenever application go for maintenance, right, in the URL itself here, in the UI itself will mention, hey, this application went for maintenance page. Am I correct? It will mention, right, don't initiate, it will come here and just coming, going, coming, going. Am I correct? Yeah, sometimes it will be hard coded here. Application under maintenance mode, don't initiate any transaction for IMPS, yeah, NIFT, whatever things, right? So now when you found this, means I can say that my application is down. So those kind of response validation also you can configure anything from the URL. Okay, that also you can do that. Okay, there's a multiple things you can do that. Then uh, response validation also. Sometimes you can write regular expression for that. Okay, SSL certificate you can monitor, adapt time location if taking more than 10 seconds to load the URL, something like that. Then you can also you have some, it is taking too much time to to load the URL. Definitely there is too much load, yeah, something like that. So you can get the alert for that. Time request timeout alert. Okay. Sometimes you have, right, when you're doing the payment through credit card or something, right, you have some limit, right, 180 seconds or something like that. After that, if it is getting, if OTP is not getting, it will have a request timeout, right? Again, you have to generate. Am I correct? So those kind of things, threshold violation also you can add it. Okay. Any questions? Yes, no.
So the only question which I have is like, so we are setting up only private private network. There's no need of creating a public network. By
Yeah,
default, the public network is given by the Dynatrace.
yeah. So you have to set up only
Call.
private location if it is an internal application. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. So that's
Sure.
it for
Thank you.
today. Okay. So Manoj, hope you are able
And
to understand.
also
Yeah, go ahead.
another Ravi, off topic. Okay, just off topic. I'm asking.
Okay, go ahead.
Like they have been asking about Amazon Lambda, just for interview purpose. Quick, someone asked like, have